Alright guys, should you plan life or just go with the flow? To be honest, you've got to do a mix of both. You plan things but never set things in concrete. For example, I'm going to buy my house on the 1st of next year, whatever. Set down concrete, you may not meet that criteria. You may never get to that point if you put too much stress on yourself to reach. But if you said, right, by February next year, I want to have the deposit ready for the house, that gives you a goal to work towards. Doesn't mean you're going to buy it that month, because if it's slightly out by a couple of months, do you really care? No. But the point is, you're getting the money together to buy it. Because one of the problems you have is life often gets in the way of our thoughts and our planning. So, I mean, it's like this year. It's been completely destroyed by my siblings, my father passing, etc. It threw everything in turmoil. But also I want to get away from the corporate world, so looking at other options. So there's a lot of changes myself. So I can understand why some people sort of give up on planning, but it's not a case of giving up. It's set your goals. Don't always set time frames. So for example, if you are going to buy a house, like I said, just plan to get the deposit ready by X. Now, or just plan to get a deposit together with no time frame, and just keep seeing the money preparing to buy that house. The other thing is, you could have the medium and long-term things of how to pay it off quickly. Medium term and short and medium term, you may cohabit. You get other people that live in your property, A, so that they're paying off your mortgage, or B, you cohabit with somebody else that helps pay their mortgage while you're getting your deposit together. You make some small sacrifices for bigger gains. But long term, the objective is to get the place paid off, you own it, and then you can move forward. Because one of the things I do know is the people I associate with, generally once they got rid of the ball and chain, which is often property, once that's paid and gone, they regain their freedoms again, which is why they become able to travel. They rent the houses out back in the UK, or they use it as a base, but because they've got reduced costs of living, they can have more money that they would have spent on a mortgage to do other things with, which often you find if you've got cash, you can generate more cash. So reality is, there is options out there. There's nothing wrong with doing a bit of planning, but just don't set everything in concrete, because it never works. You just got to think, right, is this achievable? Give yourself a realistic time frame and start putting it in play. That's it. But the reason I mention not to be too hard on yourself with times is quite simply, you can get demotivated if you don't reach that goal. The point is, just move the goal a little bit. The point is, life changes. Life and circumstances constantly evolve and change, with different things going on that you have no control over. It's a bit like this car. It was supposed to be a purchase where there'd be little costs on it for 5 years. Yet the idiots that sold it to me, I've had 5 mechanics that they had, which were all useless. They didn't fix any of the problems. And then I take it to a garage there myself, and they fixed it straight away. You know, because the garage that sold it are trying to do it as tight as possible without actually fixing anything. So the point being is, you have little things like that, which is a bump in the road, because now it's done. There isn't going to be too much needed on it long term. It's just had its roadworthiness test. That's good for 2 years now. So there's a prime example of something that was supposed to cost not a lot going forward, had a little bit of a bump, had a few repairs done, and now it should be good for the period I expected it for. But the point is, don't expect everything just to go your way because you plan it. It never goes that way. But anyway, I just thought I'd share that today. But there's nothing wrong with a bit of planning, but don't make it too hard on yourself. Sometimes you need to motivate yourself, which is very different. So for example, say your house is untidy, you get up in the afternoon and that sort of stuff. That's very different. Those things are habits, and with those you need to change and get motivated to get life moving forward again. You know, I know some people get stuck in a rut. I know a few friends that have had some problems of various types, but they sort of get completely demotivated, and then like, why should I get up in the morning? Why should I tidy the house? You know, it becomes like that, where instead of going, right, I've got to get out of this rut, I've got to move myself forward, I need to get up, have a shower, get dressed, look, you know, take a bit of pride in themselves, because once you start doing that, that's when you can start moving it forward, because you're motivating yourself to get in your head in the right space. And it's the same with planning. You plan your life, you motivate yourself to say, look, gotta look smart, gotta look tidy, gotta set some goals, gotta have a direction I want to go in, I've got a plan for where I want to be. Because if you don't, you'll still be where you are now, but in 20 years time. Thanks for watching.